Hi guys, Dan Cooper here from Pro Tools Expert, and today I've got myself a copy of Cargo Cult's multi-tap delay plugin, Slapper, with this being the new stereo version. Towards the end of 2015, Cargo Cult released the surround version of Slapper. This stereo version is now the alternative aimed more towards the music mixer, whereas the surround version was clearly aimed more at the post-surround mixer. Now though, the stereo version provides a compatible bridge for Slapper surround users to easily collaborate with Slapper stereo users. In short, the settings from a Slapper surround instance will easily downmix within the Slapper stereo plugin. So moving swiftly onto the interface, which I'm going to fly through, as Pro Tools Expert have already reviewed the surround version, which already walks through the interface in great detail. You'll find the link to that at the top of this video review. Now, what I want to show you are the areas I like about this plugin from a music mixer's point of view. I'll then run some instruments through it and then let you know why I think this is not only a great sounding plugin, but also why I think it's actually incredibly easy to use as a music delay tool. Now, what I like most about Slapper Stereo is the visual feedback it gives me, not only for placing the delays in time, but for also setting volume, pan, and feedback settings. I also like that there seems to be at least two ways of controlling the same setting pretty much throughout the plugin, which makes it fast and intuitive to use. So let me demonstrate this. As I'm working to a tempo in a music mix, I want the plugin to sync to the project. So all I have to do is make sure that the sync mode is selected down here, because when it's not, it's time-based, and this is now tempo-based. And it shows us here at the top display all the beats, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10 from 0. And this is where we just move the taps around. We can turn them on underneath here. So we've got the first tap, second tap, third tap, fourth tap. You can see them going bright as I turn them on. For this, I'm just going to select this tap here, the yellow one, and work with that for the minute. So let me quickly play a vocal so we can hear what this sounds like unaffected.
And it gets difficult to cope. That's when the tears start rolling down.
Okay, so the vocal's already got a little bit of reverb on it, but what I want to do is add just a little bit of substance to that with a bit of delay. Nothing too crazy, just a sort of up the middle delay. So, as I said, I've got number 2, which is the yellow blob, on. Let's put the delay in and have a listen.
And it gets difficult to cope. That's when the tears start rolling down.
So I've got that set on the first beat out of the 10, and it's got a feedback set here, which I can push in, and you can see there's more circles that appear. This symbolizes the amount of feedbacks that one tap has. So let's just try that at maximum.
And it gets difficult to cope.
And it just keeps going. Right, we've got damp next to it, which we can push in, which is quite nice. So let's bring it back a little bit, let's try again and move it around in some other ways. We've got the filter shapes at the top here. I can bring these in and play.
And it gets difficult to cope.
The bottom end drops out.
That's when the tears start rolling down.
All very nice. And at the bottom left here, we can actually move the placement from left to right.
And it gets difficult to cope. That's when the tears start rolling down.
All very simple. Now what's nice is that there's a tape mode included here, which we can just select by clicking next to the sync modes. Now I'm just going to drag the tap around and you can hear what this is going to do. So we just open the filters back up and give that a go.
And it gets difficult to cope.
Very
That's
speed.
when the tears start rolling down.
That's quite a nice little feature, that. Now, it is quite CPU heavy, sort of depending on what your project's doing. So this is a feature that you can turn on and off, which is nice. You can automate that off when you're not using it. And when you do use it, click it back in automation and drag these about, and you're going to get that effect, which is quite nice. So let me load up another instance of it here, where I've got something else going on. And I'll give that a play so you kind of get a vibe for what it does.
And it gets difficult to cope. That's when the tears start rolling down.
So what I wanted to try and do here was to try and create sort of a call and response, but from the same vocal. So it sort of felt like a crowd, if you will, in the background, sort of chanting along with it. And all I've done is just move a few taps, engage them obviously, move them around left and right, and then created another one back 2 beats to kind of give that sort of space with a few more feedbacks and dampening going on. So let me just play that again so you can kind of hear what I was on about.
And it gets difficult to cope. That's when the
1, 2, 3,
tears start
4.
rolling down.
1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, you get a lot of visual feedback for what's happening at any given moment within the Slapper plugin. And to prove that point that I said earlier, that you kind of have 2 areas of control, for instance, at the top here, we can obviously use the filter by dragging this selection here, or if you're used to using these kind of sliders, you can do it there. Same with the volume. So if I go for tap 2, I can do the volume there, it moves it here, or just reach out for that control there. So it's just wherever your cursor is, you can very quickly just go, right, I want to turn that down, or if your cursor's down here, oh no, I want to turn it back up. Really intuitive. You don't have to think where this certain control is. It's all laid out really nicely in front of you. So I want to move on to what I think's just absolutely brilliant with this plugin. It's the attention to detail that they've given to their presets, which there is just absolutely loads of. And their presets are anything from like environments, styles, spaces, all the way through to like mad creative rhythmic patterns. I can tell there's been a lot of thought and love gone into making these. So let me just demo a couple of them for you now. Something quite roomy. Something with lots of feedbacks, lots of stuff going on. So hopefully you get what I'm on about with this visual feedback thing. It's just so clever. It really does sort of just tell me very quickly what's going on. So what's my final thoughts on Slapper? Well, I think it's really well thought out. It includes some great sounding presets and user features, such as this visual feedback thing. It sounds great. It can be as creative or as musical as you want it to be. And to be honest, I can't really find any fault with it. Slapper Stereo and the surround version for that matter, they are, a different take to the delay plugin market. And I think that's what makes it sort of very unique. It's not just a load of twisty knobs and sliders and you kind of got to use your ear and guess where things are. You can quite literally just drag things around either in this tempo-based mode or in the time and sort of have at. And just the fact that each tap will symbolize when audio is running through it, it's just enough to confirm your ideas and your settings that you're doing so that you can move very quickly on to your next task. So if you're into using delay plugins, I would strongly recommend you give this a go and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I've been Dan, and as usual, thanks for watching.